get questions all the time about how to be creative and how to create unique pictures and how to really stand out in a marketplace that's crazy, crazy busy. There's so many people now that want to be photographers. There's so many extraordinary pictures being made every day. So how do we, as photographers, create pictures that's unique in all this and really stand out? Now, the answer to this, right, is to be yourself. There's this amazing quote that says, "Be yourself, everyone else is taken," by Oscar Wilde. And I think that applies to photography. You can't chase trends, you can't try to be someone else. What you have to do to be successful commercially as a photographer is to stop and pause for a minute and ask yourself, why do I want to take certain pictures? Why do I resonate with certain themes or certain subject matters or certain places? It's within that question that you could find yourself and find what your voice is to create imagery. My quest in this tutorial will be to help you think and show you my process, how I try to listen to my emotional well, so to speak, the experiences that I've had in my life, and ask myself these questions. How can I apply this to pictures so that the pictures that I take do stand for who I am as a person, so that I'm reflecting something from me into the photography and creating something that's uniquely mine. And that's where the key is. I believe firmly that that's the only way that you will be successful today as a photographer. It's really the only way that you can stand out. There's so many good photographers out there that creates extraordinary work all the time. So to compete, you have to not compete. You actually have to do something that's just yours. If you're a surfer, you take surf pictures because that's what you're passionate about. If you're a skateboarder, you shoot skateboarding, and not just people skating, but who are the people skating? Who are the people that you're with doing it? Shoot those people, shoot those friends, shoot those emotions, right? As they're flying, doing all this, if they're surfing. It's not just the action, but it's also the culture around it. You got to connect with all that stuff because that reflects you. And that's where the unique pictures are. And that's where the successful photographers live. I've taken pictures now for 20 some years, and it took me most of that time to get to this place. I would intuitively go and shoot certain things, but I didn't recognize why. I never asked myself, why do I shoot these kinds of people? Why do I shoot all these older men? Afterwards, looking back at my career, it's so obvious to me that I shot all these older men because I grew up without a father. Of course, there's a question there, something that's nagging at me, that drives me that direction. I didn't see it when I was in it. I just did it because it was important to me. Now, if you manage to ask yourself those questions, right? Why do I take these pictures? You could tap into this and understand why and really focus in on what's unique about you and your emotions and what you're drawn to visually. You won't go ahead and shoot certain things just randomly. There's your inner voice there. There's your subconscious that really talks to you and lets you know where you should go and take pictures. Now, having a conscious awareness of why will just make you float away and shoot pictures that will make you stand out for sure. So I will take you through this process of mine, how I went through a breakup and I'm coming out of it and asking myself these questions of, what do I do? Where do I live? What do I do next? All these questions I ask myself, I will try to find the answers of, or at least describe in these pictures that I will create together with you in this tutorial. So when I want to create a new body of work or new pictures, I want to create something that I know is meaningful to me, something that I can relate to, something that I can draw emotional content from. I feel very confident in my capabilities to shoot beautiful pictures. And I think where I can get better as a photographer and where I can continue to grow as a photographer is to add emotional content. And I think for you as a young photographer, and if you could tap into this and understand that the emotional content of photography is king, you will be way ahead of the curve. If I knew this when I started out 15 years ago, I would be way better than I am today for sure. Starting this journey now is important, and I want to teach it to you. So about half a year ago, I went through this breakup that ended a relationship that was almost 5 years long. With that comes a lot of emotions, obviously, but also a few questions about where do I go now, what do I do next, and where do I stand? And it's within those questions that I want to take 4 pictures together with you to describe some of that. I just talked about being unique, how to draw from yourself and your emotions. That's what we're going to do in this. I'm going to tap into those questions of what do I do and where do I go and what went wrong in that relationship and try to describe that somehow visually. It's personal to me. I'm excited about it. What's more important though is that I can relate to these themes of these photographs. Some of these you might have seen before. The single guy standing there in front of this big open vista. I can make that picture unique now because I can relate to it deeply. So I guess what I want to tell you is that you could craft pictures you've seen before, but to make them unique, you got to pull from yourself and apply yourself to that. So be inspired by all the things you see around you, but you have to make it your own. That's when you will shine, and that's when you will create extraordinary pictures, and that's where you will stand out. So that's what I want to do with this series of pictures. Draw from that breakup, draw from that sadness in some ways, drawn from those moments where I look forward and see opportunity, drawn from experiences of getting advice, and also the miscommunication in a relationship. So this whole tutorial will follow sort of my journey of this relationship, that breakup, and how I can tell that personally and uniquely through images. So in this, we're going to create 4 images that's going to describe a breakup and recovery. These are pretty universal themes, right? We've all seen this story before, but it's fresh in my memory, it's fresh in my heart. So I'm going to create unique pictures that I can really relate to. The first one is called Conversations. It will be 2 people in 2 separate rooms, one obviously having longings, the other one sitting there ignoring it. The second picture will be a car crash. We're going to take a river, we're going to pull a car into it, showing sort of the crash, the moment in the relationship where things just fall apart. The third image will be kind of coming out of that, standing there with your head high, you look out to this open vista and you see the land of possibilities. You look forward and you go, what now? Where do I go? There's a mountain range at the end of that and you're going to climb across it. It's another mountain to climb. So that's the part of the recovery. The fourth picture will be what I call the wise old man. He's the classic archetype. You have seen him in Gandalf, you have seen him in Yoda in Star Wars. Me and my inspiration for this come from Brother Where Art Thou, the movie. There's a guy there that comes across telling the truth using a handcart. We're going to do a similar picture, but telling it my way. I got my emotions attached to this, so we're going to make something unique that has a universal theme to it, but my uniqueness applied. So if you ask me where I am today, where I stand in all this, I would say I'm right at the cusp of the third picture. I stand there, head high, looking forward to what will happen, and I'm looking for the next chapter, right, which will be the guy that comes along on the railroad cart and will take me with him and fly me along into the future. So we could talk about that later as well, how we set goals and how to try to work forward and create pictures that we want to create. But for me in this series, I'm right at the third image. So I'm going to look back for some, apply myself today, and look forward for the last. So now that I've been through all these emotions and been inspired by them, it's time to sit down and really craft these pictures that's depicting this journey. I'm going to take you through the whole process from casting to scouting location that speaks to this, finding the right crew, finding all the different elements that we're going to put together in post, and describe really the unique experiences that I've had.